Hello, hello, sisters. How are you? Happy Labor Day weekend for those of you who are celebrating or in the US. How are you doing? How are you doing this weekend? Okay, we have our second to last illusion that we're going to talk about today. And this is, sorry, I really hate it when the camera's all like kind of goopy. We're going to talk about the elephant today. And when I first started doing some research on the elephant, I don't know. I mean, I love elephants. I think elephants are amazing. Does anybody else think they're amazing? And so smart and so beautiful in so many different ways. Hello, Erin. I was so emotional with the elephant that I was planning on going live with the elephant later on that day, and I had to choose to say no. Like I was like, I have to. It's too much for me right now. Now, it could definitely have something to do with the moon, as we were talking about. Were we talking about that in here or in the membership? The full moon, the blue moon, right? It's in Pisces, which is a water sign, which is very emotional. And so, yeah, I was talking about it in here. And so I'm like, okay, could have something to do with that. Also could have something to do with I'm in my fall phase of my cycle, which is like I'm coming upon bleeding. So that also sends all kinds of emotions. Wow, it's very sunny. And so my hair is like a little wild. It's a little wild here. And it looks like my camera is still pretty gross, honestly. And it's really sick to me. So anyway, it was like really emotional, and I was just like, okay, that's better. Can always thank the Norwex. Does any of you have Norwex? So good for your glasses and other things too. I have some for my kitchen as well. So anyway, when I was really diving into this elephant mentality, it just really hit my heart in a big way. And so much so that I was like, I had to choose not to talk about it. So it's like I'm way too weepy to be talking about this right now. So I'm going to pause before I talk about the elephant. So okay. Today we are going to talk about the elephant. Hello, Patty. The sun is like glaring right on my computer, so I really can't see much, but how are you all feeling? Use the hashtag wildly alive as you come on. Say hello. Do not be a creepy neighbor. Okay, so here's the story about the elephant. So they have this whole like, so basically, I'm like, where do I want to start here? So when you're trying to train an elephant, when they are baby elephants, they use a piece of rope and a stake in the ground, and that's how they keep the elephant in place. Okay. And so at that point, at that point in the baby elephant's life, it's not strong enough to break free from the stake in the ground. But as they get older, they use that same stake and that same piece of rope from what? I don't even know how much a baby elephant weighs. Like, I don't know, 100 pounds, 200 pounds. I have no idea. A 200-pound elephant to almost a 14,000-pound elephant. That's how big they can get, between 5 and 14,000 pounds. They use the same rope and the same stake. And so if you ever go to like a circus or anything, which I hope that circuses don't do this anymore. It like just breaks my heart. And you see a huge elephant that can literally it could tear a tree out from the ground, right? Such a strong animal. But they will be held down by a little flimsy rope and a little flimsy stake. And this is actually how they train an elephant. It is like bizarre to me to even think about it. And this is why they say that an elephant never forgets. Because when a baby elephant is trying to break free and trying to break free and trying to break free, at that age, it can't break free. And so what it learns over time is that I tried once and I failed, so I'm not going to try again. So the illusion with the elephant mentality is I failed once. Once a failure, always a failure. That's ultimately how it is. And, you could only imagine if you saw an elephant being captured by humans, being 5,000 pounds, just wanting to say to that elephant, like, you are so strong. You are so much stronger than you once were. And you're being held captive by these humans. I hope that they're not treating you terribly, but you could break free. You could get out of this situation, but you're not, because you tried once or twice or 3 times and you're not willing to try again. This says so much. Hey, Laura, this says so much about our belief system. So we all know this, but it's really good to highlight this. Your thoughts create your beliefs create your actions create your manifestations, creates your reality, right? And so the baby elephant was pulling and pulling and pulling and thinking, I can't break free. I can't break free. I can't break free. I can't break free. And then it grows up with the belief, I can't break free, and it never breaks free. It's held captive for how long do elephants live? Like 50, 60 years, 80 years? Because of this one belief. Once a failure, always a failure. And I see this so often in women in the Wild Via Life community who have tried and tried and tried, but they ultimately are more held victim to the belief that I'm a failure and it's not going to work, right? This ties very much into the monkey mentality as well, because there's this self-righteousness around it. So the thing to remember as you are embarking on something that you've tried to find success with before, right, is that it's different this time. You are different this time. You are stronger. You are more evolved. You can do this. It's different. It's not the same. But it's that one belief. I've tried this before. And again, maybe you've tried 10 times. Maybe you've tried 3 times, whatever. Maybe you've tried many times, but it's still the belief that I can try and I will fail. That's the illusion. Actually, that's the illusion. I can try, but I will fail. Where do you feel like you try? I hate the word try, right? Don't just try, do it. Just don't just try, do it. But where do you try and you feel like no matter what, you always create the same result? If it was you 10 years ago or you today, same result. So just like if we could talk to that big, beautiful elephant and just say to it, like, look, you are a different person. Yes, you have tried in the past, but things are different this time. You are different. With every failure that you've had, with every attempt that you've made, you've learned something. You've grown, you evolved. You're a bigger, better, stronger, wiser person because of those failures. You have to look at any new endeavor, any endeavor that you have tried before, as a new one, as if you haven't done it before, because you will be held victim, just like the elephant, to the belief that I've tried this before and I will fail. And just like the monkey taught us, I'm stuck and I'm right about it, you will continue to be right about it. You hear me say this a lot in Wild Via Life, for those of you who know or who've been around, is fall down 7, get up 8. Fall down 7, get up 8. With every time that you smack your face on the ground and you fail, you learn something new. Like if you are actually running, you learned, oh, well, there was a step there and I'm never going to forget that step again, because that step made me fall and smack my face on the ground, right? With every time that you have failed, It's a lot, right? With every time you have failed, you have learned something. You have to give yourself credit for that. So there's this book called The Last Penguin, and it's it's called The Last Lecture, and he talks about the first penguin. So it's a really, really good book if you're ever just looking for like a good, it's like a professor who was diagnosed with some sort of terminal cancer, and it was about his last lecture that he did, and he ultimately did it for his children who were really young at that time and couldn't remember him. It's a tearjerker, but it is chock full of some really good wisdom. And he talks about with penguins, there has to be one brave penguin that goes into the water, possibly shark infested water. There has to be one brave penguin who goes first. And how he really wants to instill this belief in his children of like, what are you going to try today? What are you going to try that you've never tried before? And you could go into these experiences of trying to lose weight, trying to get on the same team as your body, trying to have a healthy relationship with food, trying to be somebody who continues to work out for the rest of their life. You can embark on this endeavor as if you were the first penguin. This is the first time that you've ever done it, right? If the first penguin would never do it again, right? Well, I mean, if it went into shark infested waters, right? Like it maybe came out lucky, but you know what I'm saying is like, you could really look at this like that penguin, like that brave penguin who went in the first time. There is so much resiliency in your failure. Do you know that, he said this in the book too, is that most big companies who hire a CEO actually look for failed businesses on their resume? Isn't that interesting? Because there are so many lessons that you learn through that failure. They would rather hire a CEO who has a failure on its resume than a fresh little chicken nugget right out of school with their MBA, ready and willing to go in. That's how valuable it is. So I want you to think about a time of your life when failure has served you, right? When has failure served you? In the moment, don't get me wrong, it sucks. I get it, okay? I get it. But I want you to think about times in the past where when you were in it, it sucked. You're like, why is this happening to me, right? We go into like the victimhood mentality. Why is this happening to me? It shouldn't be happening to me. Like this sucks. It's happening. It's not happening for anybody else. It's just happening for me. But now in hindsight, you see that you grew so much through that experience. And though it was hard, and though, yes, you were knocked to your knees, and though there were times you were wondering how you would ever get out of this situation, you look back on it and you think, I wouldn't take that back. I wouldn't take that back for anything, right? I lost my job, found out I was pregnant shortly later, and then it put me into a better path. I evolved so much since then. Yeah, exactly. So often when we are going through these experiences, especially with our body, it's trial and error. We're learning what works and what doesn't work. Something that I tell the Wild Via Live members all the time, especially when you first come in, I'm like, look, this is not going to be perfect. Okay. We're just going to lay it all on the table. This is not going to be perfect. You're going to have days where you binge. You're going to have weeks where you don't exercise. You're going to have times when you feel like giving up, for sure. We're human. This is the human experience. I'm not going to paint a picture that this is going to be a perfect journey, because it's not going to be a perfect journey. You were going to fall. You were going to slip up. You were going to smack your face on the ground more than you know, but you're going to learn resiliency. You're going to learn how to strengthen your bounce back muscle, because this is life. So often women are just waiting to take care of themselves once the stars align, once my schedule opens, once there's time. Once we have time to take care of ourselves, then we'll do it. And then we realize 20 years later, we still haven't found the time. So it's like, we just have to freaking figure it out. So as you come into the membership, my entire intention for you is to understand, look, you're going to fall, you're going to scrape your face, you're probably going to want to quit. That's normal. You're not hurting my feelings. I know how it goes. I've been doing this for 17 years. I know how it works. I don't take it personally. It's a part of the human mentality. But the key is to recognize it, to see the mentality, to see the belief, to see the block, and look at it for what it is, as the wise woman and the little girl who's believing, oh, I'm a failure. It's not going to work for me. It never works for me, right? You witness the belief. You see the belief and you say, I see you. I see you. I see you, belief. I hear you. And I used to believe in you. And I used to invest so much of my time. And I used to spin and spin and spin in thoughts about you and like really, really just invested in you. And you know what? Not this time. I'm not giving you all my energy. I'm not putting all kinds of energy behind that belief because it's not true. Because I know that there is a way out. I know that there is a way that I can feel success. I know that there is a future version of me where I wake up in the morning and I have energy and I feel good. I know that there's a future version of me where I walk into my closet and I feel excited to get dressed. I know that I can look in the mirror and feel proud of the woman that I see. I know that there is a possibility of me being around even my most tempting foods and feel confidence and being able to navigate that like I never have before. I know that I can be somebody who moves their body for the rest of their life. I want to be somebody who is able to have sex with the lights on. And I know that's possible for me. But if I keep believing you belief, it's like the elephant looking down at that stake in the ground with the rope. If you keep believing it, if you keep looking at it and investing in it and saying, nope, it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen, then it's never going to happen. You have to be able to witness the belief. You have to see it for what it is. You have to rise above it. Evolved brain, not the elephant brain, the evolved brain. And that's where you start taking your power back, because your thoughts create your belief systems create your actions, and your actions create your life. You need to outcatch the fox. You need to use your evolved brain to rise above this belief system that has not been serving you and say, okay, this time I embarked on this journey and I fell and I scraped my face, but instead, I'm not going to let this take me down for weeks. I'm going to get up. I'm going to dust myself off. I'm going to recognize the lessons. What did I learn? Because as you're starting to evaluate your relationship with your body and figure out how to get on the same team as your body, it's a communication, right? And you and your body, like the dieting industry wanted to disconnect you from your body. Hey, Karen. Hello, Laura. My biggest success is my mental health is so much better since you joined the membership, Erin. Yeah. Yes, I love it. So diet culture has been training you to not listen to your body, right? Don't listen to your hunger. Don't listen to your fullness. You still have 300 calories left. Like you could keep eating, or you know, like diet. Don't know you want something sweet. You can't have something sweet. Go chew a piece of gum, right? Their whole thing is like, if you do not listen to your body, then you are attached to their plan. So over time, you're just like not connected. So as you come into the membership and you're learning about how does my body talk to me, and what does she say, and what does she want? And I know it could really feel like a foreign language, right? Who here is in the membership, has been in like mastery for a while and can attest to this? At first you're like, wait, what is she saying? What's going on? And that involves some trial and error. That involves some slipping and smacking your face on the ground. But the key is to get up and learn the lesson and keep going and figure out that life is always going to throw curveballs at you. Always. This is how it goes. This is why ideally you stay in the membership for a year. This is what I always say. I just had a woman ask me the other day about the membership, and she was like, well, how long do you typically work with clients? And like, ideally, what I have found in my 13 plus years of doing coaching, Well, actually, no, even in personal training, it's about a year, because here's what happens is a year guarantees that we go through at least 3 big life experiences where you typically would shut down and self-destruct. If it's the holidays, we'll all go through the holidays together, right? But leaving jobs, losing somebody that you really love, something big happening in your relationship, right? 3 big life events can happen in a year. And the key is that we go into that and we talk about it and we do coaching and we figure out what's happening for you. And you recognize, I'm starting to fall off. Life is feeling super hectic and I'm starting to not take care of myself. I'm like, okay, this is where the magic happens. I love it when my clients are doing great, but when they're really struggling is where we can really create massive traction, because they're falling into a belief system that has been keeping them stuck for a really long time. So that's what I'm saying is you have to use your evolved brain, your wise woman, to recognize, okay, life is getting super crazy and super hectic, and I have not taken any time for myself. Instead of going into the belief, I'll start in a few months, or I'll start over on Monday, or I'll start over next week, or life is just too busy, I just don't have time for me, all belief systems that have kept you stuck for so long. Instead of that, you're like, okay, I see it. I'm going to engage in the sisterhood. I'm going to show up to a coaching call. I'm going to figure out how to get on the other side of this, because this belief system has been keeping me stuck for years. This rope has been keeping me stuck for years. I have to see it and I have to cut it and I have to break free and say, I'm not going to believe you anymore. Right? I remember hearing all of this back in 2008 and feeling so overwhelmed. Now I can really dig deeper because my overwhelm was too much. Baby giraffe, the tools are here, save me on a regular basis. Yeah. Laura's been in and out of the Wild the Alive world for a while. I would say wasn't it 2017? Because the retreat, you came to the retreat. I guess the retreat was later on in the year. But yeah, I mean, if this does feel overwhelming to you, I just have to tell you, like, there is support for you here. There are tools and checklists and things that can help guide you through all of these philosophies and ways of living, right? Something that I think I'm really good at, and people have told me this, is I'm able to take a really big concept and make it practical. And that's what I do in the membership, is I try to make it extremely practical. We're learning this philosophy. How are we going to put it into action? Right? And here are some specific ways. A lot of valuable lessons and motivation. I have learned so much. I love it, Patty. Yes. So great. So, okay, the last and final illusion I'm actually going to do on September 5th when I go live and tell you about the membership, because it really ties hand in hand. It's going to wrap up this illusion series in such a beautiful bow. And then I'll share the illusion with you, and then I'll share with you about the Wild the Alive membership, and I'll talk to you about all of the different classes and why these classes exist, really, and how they can really help you in creating the change that you ultimately asked for. And then all of a sudden, I showed up in your life. Wild the Alive showed up in your life, and that was not coincidental. You asked for this, right? You've been wishing for this. So I'm here and it's time, right? Like, this is the last time that I'm ever teaching these classes again. If you've been around for a while and you've just been waiting for later, like, the wait is over. It's time. The rubber needs to meet the road. And we're going to go out with such a beautiful last party. I'm so excited about it. So I'll tell you more about that on September 5th. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Go through the illusion series if you really enjoyed it, and really soak it in. And I will see you on September 5th in here. All right. When in doubt, ask your body. Bye.